color.
You could do what you wanna do in living color. In living color. Okay, wait. This is not in living color.
No, it is
This
not.
is Pero Let Me Tell You.
It is.
Episode 330.
Nope.
343.
Nope.
4.
Yes.
344.
344, yes.
344. See? I told you I was going to keep messing up.
No, but you got there. You got there.
Yo tengo un freaking enredo with my hat and my headphones. Like they're falling because my headphones are tilted back, but they're sitting on the brim of the hat. So
there's a lot of coordination there.
So I know it's not going to fall, but it feels like it's falling. So it's like, yeah.
Está como la canción.
We have a different table today.
Catch
Everything feels
me,
so
I'm
different.
falling.
Everything feels so different. With
Yeah, look at me.
table.
I'm just leaning back in this chair.
You're
I'm like in a Jennifer convertible.
a Jennifer convertible. Oh, Jennifer convertible. Jennifer convertible. Wait, what was their Jennifer convertible? Wasn't it like a lazy boy?
Lazy boy, yeah.
But they called it a Jennifer convertible.
I guess it was a company owned by Jennifer instead of Lazy Boy.
Whatever. Well, welcome to episode 344 of Pero Let Me Tell You. ¿Cómo está todo el mundo?
I think everybody's good.
Let's give a round of applause for Junior.
Yes, because you know what? Junior does not have a camera today, but you are there, sir, and we love you.
He is,
The laugh cam.
The laugh
the laugh cam. The laugh cam. So let me ask you something. When In Living Color was out, did you watch In
I
Living
watched
Color?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I used to love In Living Color on Sundays. It was on Sundays, right? It was Sundays.
Sundays and Thursdays.
It was Sundays in the Canal 7.
And it was Fox.
On Fox.
And I don't remember now. I think it was on Sundays and also Thursdays at some point. I think it was both.
Right, but it was first run on.
No. But I'm saying, I think, yeah.
I remember I used to love the opening that they were like with the paint cans.
Yes. Honestly, it looked like Adrian's studio.
Oh.
Did the Wayans film this here?
For some reason, I always remember the skit of the tampon commercial that she got into the pool and it sucked all the water.
Absorbent.
And then, of course, Men on Film.
Oh.
This segment is sponsored by Ben Gay. Hated it. You think about it, they were like ahead of their time.
That entire thing was ahead of its time. That entire show.
Because they were doing that catty gay humor that eventually became culture or like
yeah, it's like it's mainstream. Now.
mainstream.
Yeah.
Like they were doing it in 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Innovators, the Wayans.
How many Wayans are there? Like 45 of them?
I think and counting.
Well, because there's.
Because they have children and the children
Do you
have
have
children.
a favorite?
A favorite Wayan? Yeah. That's a funny question, but I think I do.
Who?
Damon Wayans Jr. Just because I feel like
From New Girl?
and Happy Endings.
Wait, why did I blank? Oh, Happy Endings. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's why I have he's probably my favorite.
He left New Girl to do Happy Endings.
So he did the pilot for New Girl, then Happy Endings. He had also done the pilot. It got picked up.
Right.
That's why he didn't come back for New Girl in the first
But then
first
Happy
3
Endings
seasons.
got picked up before New Girl.
Yes, and then Happy Endings, when Happy Endings got canceled, they brought him back to New Girl.
Right, they brought back Coach.
Yeah.
So then you also had the other black guy, Winston.
Winston,
and
exactly.
him. But I love that they played off on that.
No, I love the fact that they didn't just change the actor.
Yeah.
And then the guy who plays Winston wasn't just Coach. Like
Right.
it was a new character.
Right.
Yeah.
Those were, New Girl had a whole run with Zoe Deschanel. New Girl, I don't care what anybody says. I do feel that show somewhere in the middle jumped the shark,
Yeah.
like a lot of shows do.
Yeah.
But New Girl, that show, the first few seasons was a freaking riot.
It's great.
It was a riot.
Like the first 3-4 seasons. Yeah.
Like Schmidt was.
Oh my God. It started jumping the shark once, what's the guy's name? The one that she ends up with. Nick. Once Nick just became
Because
crazy.
Nick became sort of like an idiot, and
Yeah.
Nick wasn't an idiot.
Yeah.
I think also it was one of these shows that you knew Nick and Jess were going to get together,
And they kept.
but it just got silly. They didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Right. I loved Schmidt and Ceci
And Cece. Oh my
and
God.
Cece. That show was great. And then of course Happy Endings.
I just rewatched that show the other day.
Do you know my favorite moment of Happy Endings is? When the blonde girl, her name was Jane, right?
Jane, yeah.
She's like, the other day I was on Google looking for black Crocs and I just missed one letter and got a whole different thing. And I remember remember watching that and being like, oh my God.
That show, I've seen that show probably more than most new shows. And I still, every time I watch it, catch a new joke.
Because you know what? That show, Happy Endings, I don't know, for those of you who saw it, Happy Endings ran for like 3 seasons.
Three, yeah.
That show, I feel, was not network television material.
It would be more appreciated now if it came out on network. Back then it wasn't network. It's what network is doing now or trying to do now.
Right. No, but I feel that's a streaming show.
It is a streaming show.
And I feel that is a streaming show also because that is the type of show that I would have gone a little bit further if they would have been on streaming.
But I like that because it was broadcast. It almost kept them more creative.
And I thought it was really clever that each season ended with a wedding.
Yeah.
That was that show was that I know there was a moment that they thought they were going to bring it back.
I know. I would have loved it. But
that's where we got the Pangea grill from.
Pangea grill.
So what's going on this week? We're a little. Well, I'm not buzzed.
We're a little toasty.
Yeah, I mean, we just had an interview where we just drank. The interview will air in a couple of weeks. Yeah. You will know what interview it is.
Yes, it
will there was a lot of drinking involved in the interview.
Yes, but we handled it like champs.
Like champs, exactly.
That's actually why we have a different table. Because
we're too buzzed to bring in our table.
We could not be bothered to bother Junior.
Our set design. People, Junior is also our set designer.
Yes.
El tipo tiene tremenda gracia to decorate a set.
I honestly think that if we needed to, he could also be like our wardrobe guy.
Yeah, like Junior, like you guys have to understand, especially for those of you who see us, right? In our Hangueandos episodes, we usually have a sofa with like a very decorative throw.
Yeah.
There's different throws to choose from, but Junior knows which color palette to like which one to put. He knows where to put it. Like it's like I think this guy has watched.
He's like a set decorator.
HGTV for a while.
Yeah. You know what? Step aside, Chip and JoJo. Junior's in town.
Wait, who's Chip and
Hijo
JoJo?
de Chati. I grew up with the HGTV all the time. TLC and HGTV.
Back when
and
TLC had
DIY. DIY.
That's back when TLC had actually like makeover shows and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back when. Well,
there was something to learn
when TLC was a learning channel.
Yeah, when there was something.
No.
I only come here to learn now, to listen, laugh, and learn. So.
We're the new TLC.
We
promise that we won't turn into a reality show.
No.
Or what is it? TLC has 90 Day Fiance, right?
Yes. All of the 90 Day Fiancés.
And My 600-Pound Life.
Yes, and the 1,000-pound sisters or whatever they're called. Yeah.
Okay, My 600-Pound Life. Okay, I want to say something about that show.
Okay.
And I've always...
You took a breath.
Okay, because you know that I don't like to say controversial things, and I like to be very...
In public.
Shut up.
I don't. In private, he only speaks in controversial things.
Shut up, I don't. I was PC before being PC was a thing.
When he was PC, it was still just a computer.
So here's my thing with the 600-Pound Life. First of all, I have a lot of sympathy for these people. I really, really do. And I hate when people are like, oh, why don't you just lose weight? Well,
in these cases, you can tell it's more than
if it was that easy, we wouldn't be here. And I have a lot of sympathy with these people, and my heart goes out to them. And every time I watch this show, I'm always like, I hope they win. I hope they lose the weight.
That they come out on
I
top.
hope Doctor, whatever his name
Dr.
is,
No.
doesn't get on their case porque es un pesado,
I am not pesado. They eat too much, and then they come to me, and then they say, Doctor, no, I have problems, and then they don't want to lose their weight. You've been eating for 42 years.
That was surprisingly good.
I watched a lot of that.
You watch a lot of my
really
600-Pound Life, man. Like you just mimicked him.
I really do.
So my whole thing is, I understand. I don't understand, but I have sympathy for them, right? The thing that gets me about a lot of people on that show, and it's not just them, it's the people around them, porque tienen la casa sucia. I'm serious.
I love that. People are watching this show and being like, I look at them, they're so overweight and this and that. And Darian watches and he's like, mira esos rodopie.
Mira los rodapié que están negros. Todo está sucio. Todo está like, have these people, and I'm not even talking about the person.
Because clearly they cannot clean. They're in no condition
I'm
to...
talking about
right.
the family. I'm like,
Right.
esta gente se bañaron. Like, you have people coming into your house with cameras. You couldn't wash your hair. Like, again, I'm not talking about the 600-pound person.
Subject, right.
I'm talking about the rest of the family. La casa es un desastre. Está todo sucio. La misma persona es tan sucio. I'm not kidding. That is what I'm watching. I'm like, look at these people. Like, son todos unos puenco. Like, okay, that's a strong word. Pero son todos unos sucio.
So what I'm hearing is that TLC, look at the camera, TLC, we'd like to pitch a show, which is My 600-Pound Life, but the spinoff is that while they are getting the treatment, Darian comes in with a crew and just cleans the house for them.
Give them a house makeover.
To start their life
their
anew.
new life.
Yes.
And just live. That is a great idea.
Stick with me, kid. I got 100 ideas.
Wait, somebody watches a show that has some type of connection. Are they Discovery?
Yes. Well, they're Warner Brothers Discovery.
Warner Brothers, whoever, with Discovery distribution, whatever. This is a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, we could talk about neutral color palettes for the house.
I mean, sure. I guess we could. Yeah. Like, you know, or we could make something from like their childhood that brought them joy, because, you know, they always have to go see a therapist. So maybe that's part of it. They go to the therapist and talks about the last time they were happy in their life and incorporate that.
I think this is a fantastic idea. Yeah. And it won't be a Trading Spaces bullshit.
No, because we're not asking somebody from... No. We don't want the neighbors to come in.
We want to clean their house, give a fresh coat of paint, comprarle un sofá nuevo.
It's like if Trading Spaces and Hoarders had a baby.
Yes. These people, I mean, should live in a clean house. And look, I understand also that the family has to take care of this person. I get it. Pero coño, like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I certainly do.
Esas casas están de madre. And I'm like, okay, morbid obesity and filth in your house are not mutually exclusive.
Well,
right?
fair enough. But I mean, obviously, I will say, I suppose they have to reprioritize certain things, like mobility.
Imaen, yes, you maybe don't have updated furniture. You maybe have things that are older. Pero cuando la gente son sucia,
that's a whole different ballgame.
That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
You know, that's a whole different thing. When the corners of your house have accumulated dirt and dead bugs and other species.
Other detritus?
Yes. When you find a squished dead lizard somewhere in your house.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the line.
Yeah. When you have, you know, ass stains in your sofa, you know. Porque después cuando tú vienes con una toalla, you know, and you clean that shit. Right, literally. Pero esta casa, like, I see this and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
You know? So, and again, it's the other family. It's not
the person. Right.
Okay, now that you said that.
So coming this fall.
Now that you said that.
My 600-pound clean house.
Now that in talking about this, you mentioned Trading Spaces.
And here we go down the rabbit hole that is Darian's mind
again. Let's talk about Trading Spaces. Let's
revisit.
Time travel back to the early aughts. Let's talk about Paige Davis and Trading Spaces.
The time was 2000. Britney Spears was on the charts, and
no, like 2005. I remember I used to watch a lot of Trading Spaces when I was in law school. I just needed listen.
That's good background.
It was Trading Spaces and the Ashley Simpson show. I mean,
wow.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And as I've said on the show, I'm not a fan of Ashley Simpson. I wasn't even a fan of Jessica Simpson. But somehow I ended up watching the Ashley Simpson show. I couldn't stand Brian Cabrera. And I'm like, why am I watching this?
That's an interesting weekend marathon there. Trading Spaces and the Ashley
Simpson show. But I remember Trading Spaces marathons were like a marathon. Like, yo me acuerdo that it was like, you know, 10 a.m. in the morning and then it was 10 o'clock at night and I was still watching Trading Spaces. And let me tell you something else about Trading Spaces, because for all of you who are out there listening who remember Trading Spaces, you know what I'm talking about. Those people were doing that on purpose.
The neighbors?
And the worst was the Cuban designer, Hildy. She was the worst. That woman, do you know what she did one time?
I feel like you've told me this before.
She did something that, like, if she would have done that to my house, there would have been a serious legal matter going on. You would have
sent her back to Cuba?
She made somebody's basement It was beach themed. And she brought in like, I don't know how many hundreds of gallons of sand to put in the basement to put beach chairs because it was a beach theme. Let me tell you,
No,
woman.
that's not beach theme. That's a beach.
Let me tell you something. I don't care what your theme was. That was not reasonable, and that was not,
I'm looking at you doing this with your hand because I can see you already making the contract.
Yes,
you are
that
already
was
filling
not
out like a habeas
reasonable,
corpus.
and that was not foreseeable. That in your because I'm sure these people signed a contract,
A waiver, of course.
right? A waiver. In a waiver, I would argue that it is not foreseeable that in the remodeling of your house, even though you're giving a certain autonomy to the designer, is that they're gonna bring, freaking, I don't know, 500 cubic, feet or whatever of sand and put it in your house. And then those people after had to take the sand out of their basement, bucket by bucket. I
would hope the show would have done it.
I don't know if the show did it, pero that show, eso era una falta de respeto. How some of these designers what they would do to people's houses. Because you know what? You could be a designer, especially if you're giving free reign to a designer. You know what? You could go in there and be like, oh, I don't really care for this, I don't know, Venetian theme. Or I don't really care for, burgundy walls. Okay, that's fine. But some of the stuff that they did on that show, like I remember one of the designers, and for some reason I remember their names, Doug, did a master bedroom that it was jail themed.
Jail
themed.
like with conjugal visit beds.
And he painted the walls like gray with with sponge, and he made like cinder blocks. It was
Whose
jail
house
themed.
was this? Martha Stewart?
It was. And I remember thinking that, eso es una falta de respeto, that you would do that to somebody's house.
Why?
I mean,
how do you even get to jail theme?
I don't know. These people are trying to go viral before viral was a thing.
That's true.
So I would watch this and get mad. And I'm like, Paige, do something.
She can't do much. She only played Belle on Broadway.
She did?
Yeah.
She looks like somebody who would have played Peter Pan.
I can see that too. But she played Belle.
Peter Pan.
Yeah, I could see her being like,
what my mind just did. I'm like, why did I just think of Jason Bateman?
Sandy Duncan.
Yep.
Oh, I got there quick.
Yeah. So, we were thinking about Paige Davis being Peter Pan. Sandy Duncan
Was Peter
Pan. Sandy Duncan was a replacement of Valerie Harper on the Hogan family.
Yeah.
With Jason Bateman. That was last week.
No, but I understood that rabbit hole. Yeah.
So man, trading spaces es una falta de respeto. Like, tú sabes que you're all there happy thinking that, they're going to decorate your house. You have a designer coming, they're going to paint your walls, update your house, and they freaking give you a beach theme with beach chairs and sand and like an umbrella. I would have been so pissed off.
The sand is the line. Like everything else.
The sand is a line. You're drawing a line in the sand.
I'm drawing a. Wow, I didn't even think about that when I said. No, because es una cosa que te traigan like beach chairs. Like okay, fine, whatever. You don't like them, you put them in another room. But the sand.
Yeah. Trading spaces. Que falta de respeto.
I think that might have been the subtitle in Latin America.
What?
Trading spaces. Que falta de respeto.
No, you'd see people like all happy, like yay! I'm gonna and then it would be funny because then the other people. They would get like a beautiful house.
Oh,
right?
there was always one person.
There was always one person that got screwed, and
Yeah.
then the other people, it's like, oh, look at my new contemporary, design that they did in my house. Whereas the other person, they got like a jail theme for their master bedroom.
Jail theme.
A jail theme.
I would love to pick the brain of the person who did that. and
It was
find out
Doug.
why.
I remember it was Doug.
But I'm saying, like, why? How did we get there?
Or again, you had a lot of people on that show that like hated yellow. And then they painted the house yellow. It's like if they're telling you that the person hates yellow,
Right.
freaking deviate from your original plan. Like I would get so upset.
I could see you getting upset over
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, and
And it's like 20 years old.
yeah, and they probably would paint everything, semi-gloss, and that's where I draw the line.
That is your line in the sand.
I'm like,
Semi-glow.
you're painting my house semi-gloss, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Semi-gloss or satin?
satin.
Okay.
Well, matte is the best.
No, those are your options, though. That's fine.
Well, yes, I would pick satin over semi. Why are we talking about paint?
I don't know. You brought it up. This isn't my rabbit hole.
I still till this day, when I go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever to get my paint, I still got like super excited when I see the paint being mixed.
Like the
Okay, I wasn't exactly thinking that, you
Yeah.
know, thing. I was thinking, no, when the different drops of color go into the white base.
Oh, when it gets mixed in. Okay,
and then
okay. So you get excited about the pre.
what is it about painting that doesn't matter how many times you paint, you always have to buy a new rodillo? And it's not a paintbrush. The paintbrush is you reuse. Pero siempre tengo que ir a comprar un rodillo nuevo.
You know, that's a great business.
Making rodillos, rollers.
Because you always gotta get a new one.
You know that painting is one of my favorite things to do.
You enjoy the
you give me a wall and I
monotony
will
of it.
paint it. I will have my headphones on. Well, not these because these are expensive. I will have my cheap headphones on and I will paint your house. I'm saying that figuratively, not literally. I love our Pero Primos, but I'm not painting your house.
Although for the right price, we'll contemplate it.
Maybe we will.
Como están las cosas? You know what? For the right price, we'll talk. We'll talk.
So what happened with
and
you?
we'll live stream.
So
it.
what did you do this week?
I didn't do anything this week. This week was nice and just, relax, which is great because it was one of the hottest days of the year last Saturday.
It is pretty hot.
Oh my God, last Saturday was just bad. It was brutal.
It was.
It was just brutal and like just awful.
You know that it doesn't matter if it's hot outside. A mí alguna vez, even when it's like 100 degrees outside, me da tremenda gana de tomar sopa.
Sopa con calor.
Yeah.
It's like my grandmother.
No, I don't. The temperature's inconsequential.
No, my grandmother would like to have like soup when it was hot and ice cream when it was cold.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking to the guy that in Michigan it would be snowing and I'd be walking around with ice cream outside.
That's weird.
It's not going to melt.
Well, okay, fine. That's practical.
You know what totally blew my mind when I lived in the Midwest? When it would be like snowing, like there'd be snow in the ground. That, we'd go to like a friend's apartment or something and people would take like beer and drinks and stuff like that. You just put it in the balcony.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, I was like, nadie trajo una nevera.
The outside is la nevera.
Yeah.
Welcome to my nevera.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that like Ricardo Montalban.
Welcome to my nevera. Welcome to Fantasy Island. What was the premise of Fantasy Island?
So,
Oh,
I'm glad you asked.
I just thought it was the little guy and Ricardo Montalban on a pretty lush island.
Hervé Villachez.
Oh, okay.
That was Tattoo's name. He was French.
Okay.
No, so the premise of Fantasy Island was look, we never got an origin story because if it had come out now, we would have gotten a prequel origin story of Mr. Rourke. So him, Mr. Rourke, and Tattoo, they just lived on this island, and when you got to the island, you would get off, and whatever you wanted your fantasy to be would happen. Like you would live your fantasy, and there was usually like a morality play for it. So it wasn't like, it was always the premise was almost always like a be careful what you wish for type of scenario, but without going into
I'm
the
having
Twilight
struggling
Zone.
with my headphones.
I know that's
so
that's why I kept going, because I figured I'm gonna vamp. I'm gonna give you time. So it was a little like Twilight Zone without being that scary, in the sense of like be careful what you wish for. Yeah. And then at the end, you got back on the plane and you learned your lesson and you went back home to wherever the guest stars went.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that on Fantasy Island, which was a network television show, nobody's fantasy was ever about sex?
I mean, it probably was, but that's not what the fantasies were every week. That would be the Playboy Channel, not ABC.
And we don't know how these people got here?
Well, I don't know, but I don't recall ever hearing about how Mr. Rourke.
No. How the people that were gonna live their did they win a lottery or something?
Oh, they just booked a trip. They got there by plane.
Oh, through Fantasy Airways?
It was probably like go-go tours.
Oh, go. Okay. Okay.
Globus.
I'm glad I asked. That sounds like a great plot line.
Well, it lasted for several years.
It did, and it was.
It was an Aaron Spelling show,
Oh,
and it lasted for several years. And it had a reboot not that long ago, actually, where it was on Fox for I think like 2 seasons in the summer. And Rosalind Sanchez played una pariente of Mr. Rourke.
was she supposed to be Latina?
Well, Yeah, Rosalind Sanchez is Latina.
No, and his last name is Rourke.
Well, I mean, I don't ask too many questions, but you have Ricardo Montalban. You know, it's not like
Right, and his last name was Rourke,
Well, you
like
know-
Mickey.
Well, for the record, I would not want to go to that island if Mickey Rourke was in charge of the fantasies. I don't know what we would get, but I don't think it'd be good. For the record. But yes, you know, listen, maybe Aaron Spelling was just like, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to cast who I want to cast. You know, colorblind casting, as they say.
Sure. Okay.
You asked the question.
Sure. Okay. So what do you have for me?
I have many topics here on Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island sounds like the name of a nursery.
Of a nursery?
Yeah, where they sell flowers.
I do not think. I was thinking more along the lines of what you were saying, where it's like nobody came there and had a fantasy about sex. I'm thinking more strip club than nursery.
No, I was thinking about like a nice nursery, you know, where you go buy orchids and, you know, bougainvilleas. And
I mean, I guess you could have, you know, now coming to the stage, Bougainvillea.
I mean, I guess.
So I actually saw something, and I don't have much more information than like the headline almost, but I figured it was appropriate for our show. There have been dangerously high levels of arsenic and cadmium found in store-bought rice.
En arroz.
En el arroz blanco. And all I have to say is that I don't even think arsenic in the rice will keep Cubans from eating it at every meal. It is a staple that will, like, they will eat it to the death, and in this case, potentially, literally.
Bueno, my father, like a good Cuban man, my father says que si no come arroz, no comió.
And I don't get it.
Are you more of a rice person or a potato person?
Potato.
How about you, Junior?
Yes.
All the starches?
I love both, but probably rice.
More than potato. Potato's more diverse.
That's
Sí, pero
yeah,
rice, you
man.
can make arroz chino.
Right, but like I can do more forms of
No.
potato.
Or chicken
Yeah,
kitchen.
'cause, damn.
Like, you know, with the potato.
Fries.
Right.
Wait,
obviously
sushi.
baked potato.
You know
Right.
what?
Mashed potato.
I would
mashed
say
potato.
fingerling.
Sweet potato.
Roasted potato. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fingerlings. Yeah.
See?
Dame la papa.
You see? This is what I'm saying. 'Cause you can
And,
make
and there's papa in la sopa. Mira,
Ajá.
pone
Papa
en la
rellena.
sopa,
you
papa
can make you
rellena.
can make a potato soup.
Yeah, all right.
uh-huh.
And we're back with la papa. Okay, papa.
Papa talk.
Papa 2.
I wonder if the
Arroz
Irish
one.
did that.
See? Yeah, I mean the potato famine. I mean they were okay. There were options.
Is there anybody who says potato?
Only when they're singing the song, I guess.
Right, because it's you say tomato, I say tomato, you say potato, I say potato, 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 tomato, tomato.
Tomato.
Do you know where I
Let's
know that
call
song
the whole
from?
thing off. Okay, give me a moment because it's you.
The first time I heard it.
I'm gonna go with Full House.
Yep.
Okay.
When Becky and Jesse get married, that Jesse goes skydiving
Yes, that's right.
and they can't find him. So they're in the church trying to stall the wedding.
That's right.
Danny and Joey. And I'm like, what song is that? I had never heard it before.
Yes.
It's not like my parents were singing it.
I think it's from an old Broadway musical.
My parents were singing, Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. You know that song is really nice.
I don't know any of that song aside from literally what you just sang.
Para na, 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 te las deseamos a ti.
No.
Despierta, Ismael, despierta, ya la luna salió, el sol salió, ya dos pajaritos cantan y Junior, keep going.
Tweet. That's,
Oh, now it's
that
a-
is
now it's a
old
tweet
school,
cam.
bro. That is old school. Did you ever do boom, boom, boom? El dedito en el pilón.
No, but I used to put ponte el sombrero, ponte el sombrero. Papi, put on your hat.
Oh, now that
just like
that's
now,
been lost to
just
the
like
ages.
now when they were talking about that we were having a conversation with our guest, the other show we recorded, they were talking about El General. I was thinking when they were talking about El General, the general, I was thinking about El General,
Bro,
which
say-
I was bate, el chocolate, bate que bate,
Boom, boom,
el chocolate.
mami, mami, mami.
That's what I was thinking about. I mean, even till this day, when they're talking about like great American generals, I think about El General, the rapper.
Honestly, you know what?
That's who I think about.
I mean, it's Custer and General. Like, just this is the great American generals.
If you really come to think about it, El General is a Latin Shaggy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I approve. Yes.
Do you know that Shaggy is like a real estate or like investment mogul?
Really?
He's super rich. Yeah.
But he said it wasn't him.
Let me tell you something. I know a lot of people like bash Shaggy's music,
I like it.
but you know what? That man laughed to the bank.
Absolutely.
You're my age. You're my time.
His songs were It Wasn't Me, Angel, and there was another one that came. Mr. Bombastic.
That song's good.
That song was
Mr. Boogaloo.
fantastic. Mr. Rabalaba.
You know, that era and that genre, it's like my favorite song.
Hold on. Is it Diana King?
No, but you're close. I saw her performing outside of my building when I lived downtown. Mark Morrison.
Thank you.
Return of the Mack. Funny story, people. So some years back when I lived downtown in, one of the buildings in one of the high rises, I was going outside. Were you with me?
No, I
Or
wasn't.
was this one of these stories that you just know? I've told you so many times that you were
I
there.
was there, yeah.
So I go downstairs. I think I was walking the dog or something. These buildings in downtown, in front of them have usually like a big area, like a fountain, a courtyard, whatever. So in the fountain, it was a fountain in 900 Biscayne, in the building next door. There was this big man like singing and they were recording him, but nobody was paying any mind to him. And mind you, this isn't like downtown. There's people walking in in the sidewalk. Nobody was paying attention to him. And I look, I see him. I go up to like, I guess his manager, because he was like standing like by the fountain and singing, and there was like two cameramen around him. And I go around one of the people in production, which I guess was his manager. And I'm like, excuse me, is that Mark Morrison? And she's like, yes, it is. She was so excited that I knew that it was Mark Morrison, Return of the Mack. I'm like, woman, if you only knew that Return of the Mack is like one of my favorite songs.
Of all the people to run into him.
Yeah. And then, that for years, I looked him up online and on YouTube to see if I found set footage.
You haven't found the video?
No, I don't know. Maybe it was for like a Japanese commercial or like a German commercial.
Okay, but now you should be able to find it.
Return of the Mack. That song is so good. Return of the Mack.
Here we go.
That was for a movie, right?
Probably.
You know that I'll be back.
No. No, I don't think it was, because I'm thinking of Pret-a-Porter.
No,
Pret-a-Porter, and that was not that. That was something else.
Yes.
It was a similar like genre-y.
I'm not gonna go on with my life until I find out what song it is.
It was reggae tinged. From Pret-a-Porter. I'm seeing the video now with clips of the movie with Julia Roberts.
Junior, help us out here.
I think he is. No, Junior's like, you gotta struggle.
No, Diana King was for my best friend's wedding.
Yes.
No, wait. Was it Shy Guy?
She did Shy Guy and she did Say a Little Prayer. Say a Little Prayer was from Best Friend's Wedding.
Wait, Shy Guy was...
that was her.
I don't know. There's a Shy Guy.
This is what I want, girl.
I'll always be mine.
Yeah,
Mercy.
There you go.
Oh my God. Wait, what's the one of Pret-a-Porter?
Is it Red Hot? Something about hot?
No.
Hot Stepper. Here comes the Hot Stepper.
He comes the Hot Stepper. Turn it up. I'm the lyrical gangster. Turn it up. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. Turn it up. Still like it like that.
Turn it up.
Thanks for nothing, Junior.
He's usually our go-to.
No.
I was looking to see what Return of the Mack was made for, but it was just made for fun.
For fun.
For fun.
For
fun.
the
For
greatest
fun.
vibes.
The greatest.
Not just a movie, but for the movie of our lives.
He only returned for fun.
I'll never.
There was no agenda.
I'll never forget that. I'll never
was
forget
wonderful.
that in
We should have junior
in
camp.
2020, I was working that election as in politics, and it was it was a very serious environment, and I was working with some very serious people, and I was on my laptop, and I had Return on the Mac on, but I had it very low. Like I don't think anybody 10 feet away could hear
Mark Morrison.
This guy that was running the campaign, white guy from like the Pacific Northwest or something, comes up to me and he's like, Return of the Mac, that was my favorite song during college. And then he just proceeded to walk away. And I've never forgotten that. I was like, oh.
Maybe that's where the video aired that they filmed in front of your building.
Yeah.
And that's why he's in Miami now. He's like, I'm in Miami because of the 900 Biscayne version of that video.
Return of the Mac. That's a great song. Mark Morrison, I mean, if you're listening to us,
Say hi.
come be on the show. Sing
Maybe-
Return of the Mac to our.
maybe he lives here.
Cultura. I mean, yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Gotta live somewhere.
Are they still making my 600-pound life?
I'm sure.
I am still employed.
It's so bad. When he starts nagging on people.
I just tell her it's tough love.
Where's he from?
The hospital. Or Narnia. It's not funny. It's life or death.
I don't know where to go. I can't think of anything else. I think we need to end the show. Like, I don't know where to go from here. I mean, that man has become a meme. That meme of him like looking through the door. Let me tell you something. I think this was by accident, but that was great casting.
Oh no!
Because it could have been any doctor. It could have been, a white woman named Jean. She's like,
Right.
honey, we're gonna get you through this.
More sympathetic wouldn't work.
No,
It's got to be like,
I know why you're here.
you eat a lot.
You've eaten too much. No, you're not hungry. You've eaten more than hungry.
I think it's hilarious.
he's
that
always like at this close to just being just like,
a bully.
yeah, it's like this close to just being like,
You a hungry hippo
is what you are. Like, it's like, it's like this. It's like so close.
I think it's hilarious that that's like the type of show that you love.
I do. And I have seen like all of them. I literally one day just over a weekend during COVID when there was nothing else to do, I was like, well, we're starting at season 1.
Oh, you did see all of them.
Oh, I've seen them all. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, after a while, they kind of just start blending together.
I
But
mean, I love me some hoarders.
see that I can't do.
No,
Too many liquefied animals.
there was a lady who had liquefied cats.
There's many ladies who have liquefied cats on that show.
Oh no. Do you know how much Febreze you're gonna need in that house?
There's not enough in the world.
I mean, look, I don't want to again say something controversial.
Yes, he does.
Listen, I understand as somebody who studied psychology and has a bachelor's degree in psychology that is a psychological,
Yeah.
there's-
Situation. Yeah.
Yes, that's totally psychological. I know that. Pero tú no ves una cubana en hoarders o una puertorriqueña.
And you know what? And I'm going to make the argument there should be Cuban hoarders.
Oh no! There's Cuban hoarders. Cubans hoard, but they're not hoarders.
Right. That's what I mean. You
Right.
would think because we're like, ay, no, eso hace falta después. No, por si acaso.
Yeah.
You know, when you grow up in a communist country, you know, you kind of
No, nosotros lo guardamos todo
Por si acaso.
para mandar para Cuba.
or por si se necesita después.
Yeah. My grandmother, que Dios la tenga en la gloria, until the day she passed away, she had whole complete sets de sábana to send to Cuba. But she had these complete sets since I could remember. I mean, they were like, I think from the
So they're like
80s.
vintage.
Oh, no, they were. I kept some of them. Yeah, no, I did. They're actually next to her chair, folded.
Oh, really?
In my house, yeah. The little thing I have of her. Yeah, they're there because I'm like, well, they were in her drawer next to her bed for, 35 years. Why am I going to get rid of it now? Yeah, then he had chancletas and stuff to send to Cuba. And I'm like, because it was just second nature. I was like, guarda eso, que eso para mandar para Cuba. Right? So, yes, Cubans hoard, but we're not hoarders.
Well, but it comes back. I think it all just comes back to the rodapié.
I mean, it's very hard to be a hoarder like the ones in the show when you live and die with fabuloso.
Right. I think the fabuloso doesn't let you be a
Y
hoarder.
cloro. Meterle cloro a
Cloro a
todo.
todo.
My mom le mete cloro a todo.
Seriously.
A todo. But let me tell you something.
It cleans.
Es verdad que lo que mejor limpia es el cloro.
It really is. Vaya, lo que te pasa es que te deja las manos hecho una mierda.
Yeah. No. But that's why you put on gloves and there's other protective equipment.
I know, but the thing with Clorox is at the end of the day, like the bleach, it gets in your.
I like
your
a mild
nos.
taste of Clorox.
What?
To me, Clorox tastes like clean. There's nothing better than walking in the house and smelling Clorox.
Sure, there is a nice crisp linen.
No, Clorox. Listen, I know what I'm saying. When you walk into the house y limpiaron con cloro, you're like, okay, this house is clean. This house is
All right,
clean.
Tangina.
This house is clean and disinfected. This is, yeah. Puedes comer del piso. Pero
You know the only other thing that smell will remind you of, though,
de cloro.
of like if you walk in, there's only two things. It's either very clean house or there's a certain other type of establishment that smells of Clorox.
What, like a brothel?
I was gonna say a porn shop.
No, that's not the smell I would get.
Oh yeah, porn shops have a very distinct Clorox smell.
Do you know what I'm thinking of?
When we went to
The time we were at OJ Liquors on.
yes.
That's not there anymore, so
No,
we can
it
name
doesn't matter,
it. It was OJ Liquors at
That's
in
what
La
I mean.
87 Coral Way,
right.
where I think it's a Staples now. And we both walked in, and I looked at you, and you looked at me, and I'm like, it smells like a porn shop in here.
That's what I mean.
But it didn't smell like Clorox.
It smelled like limpieza.
Okay, pero limpieza
like
and Clorox
somebody-
are not the same thing.
Well, no, pero,
No, porque it could be like fantastic,
No,
or
no. Pero eso tienes que usar cloro.
no.
Yes. Nothing gets a porn shop cleaner than
No,
Clorox.
my mom's favorite two things to clean with are Clorox y Sofecrob.
It took me a second.
Sofecrob. My mom cannot clean the bathroom without a Sofecrob. Soft scrub.
Soft scrub.
Pero es verdad, a soft scrub,
It really gets the job done.
it does.
It does.
Ponle un poquitico de Sofecrob a una manilla de plata.
Y, oye, te lo deja.
Sale nueva.
It's like
That and toothpaste.
It gleams,
Yeah. I'm not saying to do that. Do not take.
but it works.
It works.
But I'm saying it works.
So, yeah. Anyway, what else do you have?
So I actually stumbled upon something the other day that I thought was like, let me just bring this up. So there is a study that suggests spending money on a best friend may boost health and longevity. So several studies highlighting the health benefits of generosity and spending money on others. One published in Health Psychology found that older adults with high blood pressure saw significant reductions when they spent money on others, effects similar to those of medication or exercise. Another study showed people felt happier when spending on others rather than themselves. So together, these findings suggest generous behavior, especially toward close friends or a best friend, can improve well-being and support a longer, healthier life.
Okay, so like 20 years ago, it was a while ago. You remember this. It was Valentine's Day, and that year I was feeling very happy.
I remember this Valentine's Day.
Feeling very happy. And I wanted to share the love with all my friends. So I went to Party City to buy balloons. Two things you can't do now. To buy heart-shaped balloons. And I went to all my friends' house, and I put a balloon either in their car, like around their car door handle, or in their front door. because I was like really happy that year and I wanted to spread the love and I wanted all
And
my
you did.
friends to wake up in that morning on Valentine's Day and see something.
If I may, that was 2 acts of love. To know you is to know that was 2 acts of love. Because
Right.
one, you went and put the balloons, but also you are not a morning person, which meant you had to wake up early.
Yes. So I did this and everybody, so when they would go to their car in the morning or in their front door, they would have this balloon
Right.
and it would cheer them up and make their day happy. Somehow everybody figured out that it was me and everybody was calling me in the morning, hey, thank you so much. That was really sweet of you, whatever. However, we had one friend that was like, oh my God, guys, guess what? We were like, what? She's like, I have a secret admirer. And I'm like, why? She's like, because I woke up today and there was a balloon in my car. I have a secret admirer. And I was like, who's going to tell her?
Aww.
And I think I let her go for like the whole day. I was like, I don't want to ruin her Valentine's Day.
Yeah, let her have
So
it.
then the next day I was like, it was me. And she's like, oh. I was like, I'm sorry. I crushed your dreams. But it was so funny that she hears this podcast, so she's gonna know it was her.
If
I'm sorry.
If she remembers, she doesn't have a very good memory for certain things.
I love you nonetheless, and I'm sorry.
Well, no, but that's why you did it.
I'm sorry you thought it was a secret admirer. But anyway, spending on your friends. Yeah, I mean, I just think I do feel great when I'm able to give something to someone that it's not even money, that is thoughtful, that I'm like, I know you're gonna love
That's
this,
it.
and I can't wait to give it to them.
Yeah, it could be something that costs like $2, but it's that you thought of them and you know they're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what's your favorite present?
I don't know. My favorite present. I don't know, because I've never stopped to think about like. I guess I'm one of those people who I just kind of like I enjoy the present in the moment and
Then the moment's gone.
then the moment's gone, like our yearbook.
I will say though that one year they gave my parents one year they gave them a box of Godiva chocolates, but that did not end well. But there was another year that
What
they
the hell
gave.
happened?
Oh, you don't know the story of my parents with the
No.
Godiva chocolate? I'm pretty sure I've said it here.
You probably have.
So I was like in middle school or in high school.
Okay.
And this is when, my parents my parents didn't have a lot of money, but they certainly wouldn't spend a lot of money on a box of chocolates. Right. We got the fanciest we got was a Whitman's, sampler.
It's a sampler.
What is your favorite chocolate in the Whitman's sampler? I know what mine is.
I can tell you which one is not my favorite.
Which is not your favorite
the
chocolate?
cordial cherry.
You don't like cordial cherries?
I do not like a cordial
Who
cherry.
the hell doesn't like the cordial cherries?
no.
You know what I do? I put them in the fridge
Nope.
so that little liquid gets mushy. Oh, I pop those things. I love the little cup with the little Crispies in them.
Yes. Okay.
That's my favorite. To then take the paper wrapping
Yes,
off of
I'm
it.
pro that.
It's the best one. It's the best one. That Whitman sampler was as fancy as we got. So I think it was my sister-in-law's parent or somebody had gotten my parents a big box, but I'm talking about the big one
All right.
of Godiva chocolates.
There you go.
And I was like, today is my day. I am having Godiva chocolates. Finally, I'm having Godiva chocolates. So they give her the box of Godiva chocolates and excuse me. And it was Christmas, so we were all opening presents, whatever. Y después un ratico después, my dad's boss and his wife show up with like a huge basket of stuff for my parents. And my parents hadn't gotten them anything. So my parents
Grabbed.
give them the Godiva chocolate. And this happened in slow motion because I was like, no,
Not the Godiva chocolate.
not the Godiva chocolates. And they freaking gave them the box of Godiva y me quedé without Godiva chocolates.
Con la gana.
But then some years later, they got another box of Godiva chocolates. And this one was like big.
And the boss didn't come that year.
No, and I remember it was like a turtle platter, like the turtles, like the
like
caramel clusters
yes.
and like milk chocolate. I love that shit.
Like pecan turtles and all
Give
that.
me a good milk chocolate with a pecan. Some caramel in there. I love that shit. Te arranca un diente, pero yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
They're so freaking chewy.
Chewy. No. Chewy is one thing. That is like a trip to the dentist.
When you would get the rabbits for Easter, you know, like the
hollow
Peter
ones?
rabbit, the hollow ones made by Palmer's Chocolate, how would you eat them? I had a way of eating them.
I would start with the eyes.
What? What type of psychotic person are you? What do you mean you'd start with the eyes?
Because the eyes were always like a little candy, so I would always poke them out and eat them first.
that is how you ate your rabbit?
And then I would start from the ears down.
What type of psycho are you?
I listen to a lot of true crime.
You know how I would eat my chocolate bunnies?
Oh.
I would start from the bottom and the back so it didn't look like it was being eaten.
Were you putting it on display while you were
no,
eating
because
it?
some of them were big. You didn't eat it in one sitting. What type of person do you think I am? Especially the Peter rabbit, which came with a little booklet. You know what?
No. If it was
It would
hollow, I was eating it in one sitting. The ones that were solid, I couldn't.
Even the ones that were this big, the Peter rabbit was like at least a good 18 inches, right? I would eat it in the bottom because the bottom was always thicker,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
And then I would eat the back and then a little bit of the bottom. I would always leave the face for last.
oh, I know.
What a psycho you would eat the eyes.
Also, I wouldn't eat the face first. I would just eat the eyes.
Oh no, that's even worse.
I would literally just poke the eyes out and eat it first.
That's even worse. Yeah. How do we even get here?
All I know is that this setup, I don't know if this setup works for me because I keep leaning back and falling like down in the chair and I keep playing with the cord. I don't know that this is going to work for me long term.
Well, it's just for today. Yeah, I don't know where to go from there either.
I know it's the same.
And the same headphones.
No, I know it's the same chair and the same headphones, but the thing is that the table, the way that it's here usually, I'm leaning into it. So it prevents
back.
a certain degree of
Lean back.
comfort.
Lean back.
Where I'm just kind of like, yeah. Ahorita I'm going to be like Rochambeau.
See, my days are cold without you, and I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can take no more, I keep on running back to you.
Oh. And another one.
Murdering. That was something I needed to ask, DJ.
Oh, about
Murdering or, Def Jam. Like,
yeah, put two polar opposites. Yeah.
I don't know where to go from here. Today, I'm short on the
I was gonna say
topics.
like I think last week we just kind of like
Yeah, you know why? Because today we drank before we being on here. I don't know if alcohol helps us.
it depends. It helps us while we're drinking. If we're drinking while we're recording, like in the past we have, it helps us because we just keep going.
Our newer listeners, if you ever are bored and you want to listen to a train wreck, listen to our 21st episode. Yeah. So somehow we thought it would be a good idea for our 21st episode
Well, because it was legal.
to have 20. I mean, this was our 21st episode,
Yeah.
and we're at 340.
Yes, it was a while back.
So this
yeah.
was 320 some episodes again.
Yeah.
So it was a while back. And we thought it would be perfectly okay to have 21 shots.
Well, I don't even know if we had 21. I think it was more than that because we drank 2 bottles
We
of
drank
Havana
2
Club.
bottles, and I hold my alcohol well, but this day
No,
day
you did not.
but somehow we thought this would be a good idea.
And it was because it's great content.
Yeah. Is that
Or bad content, but either way, it's content.
it's content nonetheless.
content
Any
nonetheless.
publicity is good publicity. Anyway, do you have a last soda?
I do have a last soda.
It's soda time.
It is soda time.
So I want to go first because I actually
Dale.
do want to talk about a last soda that I think is great.
okay,
So Christian Bale.
okay.
So Christian
Love me some
Bale,
Christian Bale.
who American Psycho to both. Christian Bale is one of these people that he's taken such, I think, intense roles.
Yeah,
That a lot of people feel a little like intense about him, right?
and I think he feels intense about life.
Right. But Christian Bale actually is doing something in LA that I think is wonderful, hence a last soda. So he is building in a lot of land, he's building these apartments for kids who are in the foster system, siblings, so they're not separated.
Oh,
Because about
wow.
70% of, at least in California, of the kids in the foster system are separated.
I mean, of course it happens a lot. I mean,
Yeah, no, I do it. In my work as a guardian ad litem, I've told you many
Yeah.
times of like even kids that I've had that are in the same foster parent home, but are pre-adoptive and they want to adopt one of the kids and not the other.
Yeah.
So he built this, or they're building this small community where there's going to be foster parent and it's going to be with siblings. So they're not separated. And I thought that that was wonderful because that is something that, first of all, he's a celebrity. He's
bringing
he has
attention.
memes, but he's bringing attention to something that is very much an issue, but a lot of people don't even know exists.
Yeah, it's one of those like if you don't think about it, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I was like, Christian Bale, good for you.
Did they say why he's doing this? Like if there's
No,
a personal
because
connection?
Batman.
Oh, there we go. Because he knows what it's like to be an orphan on film.
Exactly.
So I don't remember that part of the report that I saw on CBS Sunday Morning, but I was gonna say take a shot, but we already took one. Today.
We did. We took one.
But he did say that after he had a kid, sort of changed his outlook and then whatever. But yeah, I thought that was like really noble and really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
so
Yeah.
Christian Bale.
I've been a fan ever since American Psycho. That is still to this day one of my favorite movies.
I've never seen that movie.
You would like that movie probably more than you think you will like it.
No, I don't.
No, because it's not gory at all. So that's what I'm saying. Like you probably think it's worse than it actually is. You would actually enjoy it. It's fucked up, but you would actually enjoy it.
Right.
So I'm actually my last soda is gonna be it's gonna be kind of weird because it's gonna be a little roundabout. This past week, we aired the Hangueando episode with, not this past week, the week before, whatever. The Hangueando episode with Adrian, Castro, Domino.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of going to give him my last soda, but mostly because, we ended the show and we even posted a reel about it, that he said, he wants people to start becoming more intentional when they say, how are you?
Yes.
And obviously by the time that it aired, we had already had the conversation. So, but ever since he said that, I have found myself actually becoming or trying to be more intentional to the point where I have actually reached out to several people who I probably haven't spoken to in a while with like, hey, you popped into my head. How are you? How are things going? Like really reaching out to them to understand, if they're okay and catch up and check up on people.
Right.
And it's something so simple.
It is,
But
it could go a long
But it goes
way.
a long way. And I think it's one of those things that when somebody says it out loud, you're like, yeah, we should. But until somebody says it out loud.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give my last soda to Adrian to thank him for really just kind of making that something that putting it in front of my face in a way that I've become just more intentional with that. Like
he is great. Great person. I feel especially today with everything going on in the world and social media, the images that you see that, we struggle.
Yeah.
And there's days that like you could barely get out of bed.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
We've all been there.
We've all been there and it's okay. It's
Yeah.
totally okay. But sometimes, a very intentional, how are you? Like really, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Goes a long way. Even if the person on the other end can't really offer a solution, a few kind words of encouragement
We just
can
wanna
go
be
a
heard sometimes.
very, very long time. Yeah. I actually had somebody reach out to me this week with something very similar.
Really?
Yeah. A good friend of ours.
Yeah, I actually did that a couple days ago, actually with a past guest of the show, who's now a friend of ours. But and similar. The vibe I got in return was something of like a, oh well, thanks for checking in, type of thing.
Yeah, hanging in there. I feel so many of us are hanging in there.
It's we share that more in common than we think.
Yeah. Life is hard, but you're here to listen, laugh, and learn. And we hope to bring a little bit of happiness and levity to your Fridays, or to anytime you listen to us. So, we say it all the time. We take it very seriously. And in some shows, we laugh more than others. Today, we didn't laugh that much because we were on the rails, but not any twist and turns.
It was a slow train.
It was a slow train.
It was going through a school zone.
Okay. Anyway,
do you want me to end the show as Dr. No?
from James Bond.
No, from my 600-pound life.
Oh no! You know what? For one second, you know what I thought you were talking about. One of the songs I hate the most in this like existence of humanity.
What?
My name is no. My nana is no. You gotta let me go. By Megan Trainor. ¿Qué
canción pa' caerme mal? Yes.
Yes. Like what a terrible
It's
song.
like, you know what, Megan Trainor? Those are the kinds of songs que después las mujeres salen y dicen, ay, nadie me invitas a bailar. Nada. It's like, well, you know, I tried. And then you were like, no. No. It's like, you know, whatever with you. Pay your own drink.
Stand that song.
Canción estúpida.
Can't stand. And nothing against Megan Trainor, you know, but
No,
that
but the song.
in particular. Qué canción más
Eso
pesada.
igual que that song by, I've told you this before, that song by Fifth Harmony about like leaving work, like you're working too much or whatever. ¿Cómo que se llama la canción esa?
No.
Work.
No,
work.
that's Rihanna.
No. Oh my God.
Work.
The one, whatever, ese mismo, where the whole song she's telling him to like leave work early and work early. Pero después cuando lo botan,
Yeah.
then you dump him because now he don't got no job.
For some reason, I'm thinking of this song. The radio plays my favorite song,
And it's
it
what
just keeps me holding on. Cause baby, do you miss me now that you're gone? Do you miss me? Baby, do you?
Is that
miss-
Joceyln Enriquez?
I don't know. Yeah, is it?
It might be.
It is. Is it? I don't know.
It could be. It's not Taylor Dane. Like,
Tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the Taylor Dane's great. So
she's bold.
anyway, well, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. You all have a great weekend.
Yes.
Summer. Well, I was going to say summer is almost here, but no, summer's been here for a
It's
while.
Memorial
right?
Day weekend.
This is Memorial Day weekend?
Yes, it is.
Pero no se trabaja el lunes.
No.
Oh, news to me. I didn't know that. Bueno, everybody, we hope you have. Then why didn't we make this a Memorial Day weekend
What does
edition?
that even mean?
That we could talk about, I don't know,
Aircraft carriers?
crafty things to do at the beach.
You get a bucket, you make a sandcastle.
Do you know what I never did with Tristan?
A sandcastle?
Nope, I didn't.
No.
I think sandcastles are stupid.
You think anything fun is stupid?
Okay.
It's fun. Just make the damn sandcastle.
No, he had his era of sandcastles. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing the whole like, let's build a hole and see how far it could go before it gets filled with water. I'm like, I know.
Oh, I still do that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. You don't know what I do at the beach. You don't come with me to haul over.
You're right. And I'm not going to go with you to haul over. Are you kidding me? Okay, everybody. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. If you want to build castles with your kids,
Yes.
or castles with other people's kids, or
Yes.
castles by yourself,
Or
build
sandcastles in the sand with Robin Sparkles.
those castles. Have that fun at the beach. Drink that extra margarita. Have that popsicle. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I don't know where to go from there either. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.